This is WPTV.
Welcome back. This is our segment called Split the Difference, and this time it's comic book versus movie. Scott Pilgrim, one of my personal favorites. We have Michelle here from our PR team and our producer Dom on the show for the first time ever. This is awesome. This is one of my favorites. This is one of your guys' favorites, if not your favorite, correct?
Yep.
Shall we split the difference?
Yep.
Yes,
All right,
we shall.
so was it the same story? Did they change any major components of the story?
Before we go any further, I'm just going to clarify something. The movie was supposed to be two separate movies.
It was supposed to be two
It was
separate movies?
supposed to be two
That's true?
separate movies.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes. Because
What happened?
what happened was they were going book by book for most of the movie until they get to the third Evil X. And then you can sort of see where they drop off. For instance, in book 3, there's MV's drummer for the movie. She's a main character in the final fight in the third one because there's a whole other fight.
Major role.
Whole
Yeah, I
other
remember
fight.
that.
And then they completely, after that point, they're like, we got to squeeze in the other 4 X's in the last hour of the movie. And then that goes on to another thing. I know Michelle wants to talk about that whole spiel right there.
Let's just talk about how they just completely wrote out the Subspace Highway. Personally, I thought that was they talked about it for, I don't know, maybe 5 seconds in the movie.
Okay, for the people that haven't read the comic books, what is the Subspace
So the
Highway?
Subspace Highway pretty much leads into the ending. So pretty much Gideon, who's the villain, can read...
The villain.
The villain, yes, I
Gideon.
like that. He can read he pretty much sets up the Subspace Highway, which is connecting the minds together so that he can go throughout each mind and it ties it to the end. I don't want to spoil it, but they don't mention it in the movie, but pretty much the...
No, they do. They do. They're just like, oh yeah,
Please.
there's this such thing called the Subspace Highway. We're going to spend 5 seconds on that.
No, they don't even mention it in the end.
Not at the end, but when she's delivering the package.
Yeah, that's like the middle of the movie.
I'm just saying, they do mention it. They're like,
I'm just
we're just
saying.
going to throw it out the
wait,
window.
wait, so they reference it with fourth wall breaking?
No,
No.
more just
Way.
we're going to throw it
Like-
in there just to mention it.
Yeah, for 5
Yeah,
seconds.
just
While
for the
in
people who read the comic
Yeah,
books, just to
while
make
in
them
the
happy.
comic itself, it plays a huge important factor in the main story of just how Gideon controls all these women, how he has this constant control over Ramona, and how Scott has to go into the Subspace Highway to take out Gideon, and that's just never mentioned in the movie. The ending of the movie was subpar at best. It was a lame boss battle that, I don't know, it was just lame. I didn't like it.
Also,
Yeah.
you also have to admit, the comic was the 6th and final volume was being made as the movie was
Yeah,
wrapping up
yep.
production.
So-
They were like, we're going to have this ending, but there's going to be a somewhat of a different ending in the comic, which completely
No,
was
it
just
was completely different. It
It
wasn't
was-
even slightly different or slightly similar, completely different because the book did come out after the movie was shot. From, was it Hollywood? I don't remember what the film,
Or
the company.
what studio
Yeah, yeah.
was
Universal
filmed
Studios.
that?
They didn't let
That must've
him
been
release the book before they filmed the ending. So the ending is completely different. In the movie, it's not a bad ending, but if you read the books first, it's going to ruin it
Yeah.
for you.
Oh yeah,
So-
absolutely. And that kind of ties into this next question. How's the flow? Did the comedic, dramatic, and action elements translate to the
I'll tell you
movie?
what, about this movie, what it does right is it's one of those movies where it's not a video game movie, but it does what video game movies should do in adding the aesthetics of the game into the
Exactly.
movie.
It had a great aesthetic.
The entire movie was an arcade beat 'em up game, and they used the graphics, the KOs, the 64 hit combos. You see that in the film as he's beating up the first Major X.
Cough, cough, what Player One should have been, but...
Ready Player One should have been
That's it.
what it
Sorry,
should have
sorry.
been. No. I mean, that's a very good point. I mean, this really, it's such a niche, almost, it's a cult followed
It's a cult movie. It's a
franchise.
niche film. It's
You
a
know?
niche film.
So they should have really considered like what they did right in this film in terms of like the aesthetic and like the graphics and everything. It's unbelievable. Same people that made Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
Well,
which are
not the same
amazing
people,
movies.
the same director.
Director.
I do like the movie. Also, I like the special effects of the movie, like the weapons. Like Michelle, your favorite weapon in that entire.
The heart
the big
sword.
hammer, or the heart sword.
No, it's a heart sword.
Okay.
The hammer. Let's not talk about that because I personally love it, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the heart sword was exactly the same. Like if you look at the book, the drawing of it, it's made exactly the same in the movie. It is a spitting image of it, which I just thought was so cool, and the attention to detail.
Really, yeah.
Beautiful.
Really good.
But it was taken in the wrong time. He pulled out the heart sword first in Volume 4, not that towards the end of the movie, and then they do. Scott earned the power of self-respect.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that part. I remember I watched that in the theater, and the whole crowd was like, "Yes!" When they got the power of self-respect.
Yep.
Even though
That
a
was
lot of
awesome.
people hate Michael Cera. Shout out to Joe Greco.
It's true.
Please.
I don't really like him. I can actually stand him in this because the writing is that good and the characters are that
No one else
good.
could play Scott
No
Pilgrim.
one.
Honestly, I want
don't
people to
think so?
comment below. Tell me another person who would play Scott Pilgrim. I will wait and answer your
He's
comments.
the spinning image of the comic book version. If you look at the drawing of Scott Pilgrim, he's exactly like Michael Cera.
What about Tom Hardy?
No.
No, Tom
Spider-Man?
Hardy's too sexy.
Too sexy?
Too sexy. Michael Cera, not sexy, but like.
too normal nerdy. Scott
I
Pilgrim
think
is
Scott
ju-
Pilgrim's pretty sexy. I mean, look at him. I mean, he's like.
I mean, Wallace
He's got
is
long,
sexier,
stringy
let's be
hair.
honest
He
here.
plays
Facts.
bass. Wallace. What about Wallace?
Wallace is number one boy.
Yeah. Oh, he is number one boy. He's hilarious. I love
They took
Wallace.
so many jokes out of the movie from like the comic. He has an
he
entire
has a lot
arc.
of he has a lot of good moments in the comic.
Yeah, he's really funny.
Do you recommend people watch the movie or read the comics first?
I would suggest watching the movie first, just like many other.
Yeah.
Like I would never tell anybody to read the Harry Potter books before watching the movie. That's going to ruin it because, like I said, the ending is so different for the comic. It's so much more. I mean, maybe the movie is 10 pages worth of the last volume, while like the last volume goes into such a huge, like the backstory of Ramona, the backstory of Gideon. It's just so much more in detail that I feel like if you watch the movie after you read the comics, it's just going to ruin it for you.
Yeah.
It's not
I'm
gonna
going
be
to
good.
say the same thing just because the movie also has an alternate ending, which could give you more of a broader area of the Scott Pilgrim mythos. Like you could have a completely different ending in the deleted scenes. There's a lot of deleted scenes on that Blu-ray right here.
Look at that. I love that case. That is a great case.
Cost me $30.
30 bucks. Money well spent. Well, thank you guys for being here to split the difference. And honestly, I would say watch the movie first so you can be very, very well surprised when you read the comic. So, we split the difference out of Scott Pilgrim. Thank you all for tuning in to Press Start. You can find all of our social media at Press Start WP. See you guys next week.